Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Why are extraterrestrials here? What are they doing here on Earth? What is the purpose of their extended visit? In some cases, anyway. That's what we're going to talk about today. As we all know, many researchers have talked about this, debated this for many decades now. Nobody has any real clear answers. All we could do is guess. And that's what I'm going to do today. I've actually listed 10 different reasons why aliens are here, and we're going to go through that list. And the first one is one that I've talked about a lot, actually. Number one, they are engaged in a long-term project to colonize the planet. That could very well be the case. This is something that's been talked about and speculated about since the 1950s. Actually, there were people in the Pentagon who thought this might be the case back in the 1950s, that they are here to colonize the planet. It seems that alien visitation has been going on a long time, actually long before 1947, but it seems like in 1947, it's like they showed up here in force. And then a decade later, it seemed like we start hearing reports of alien abductions. By the 1980s, we start hearing reports of many alien abductions. Many people start talking about this. People are getting abducted multiple times on a regular basis. There's tens of thousands of people who claim to have been abducted by aliens over the decades. And it appears what happens with women, their eggs are removed. For men, there's sperm removed. And apparently it's mixed in with alien DNA, and they're creating some sort of a hybrid race. They're here on this planet right now. There's hybrids, according to Temple professor David M. Jacobs. There are hybrids, which is a level up of a hybrid. They're alien, half human creatures who you wouldn't be able to spot on the street. They would look just like anybody to you. And they're here for what reason? They're sprinkled all across the globe for reasons unknown. But according to Jacobs, has come to the conclusion that there's going to be some kind of a change in the future. Maybe that's what this is all about, as part of a colonization project. At some point, maybe there's more on their way here. It takes a long time to get here. Maybe the ones that showed up in force in the 1940s were scouts sent out to find planets suitable for relocation. And maybe Earth was, they decided, hey, this is the perfect place, and hey, let's move forward with our colonization plans. And that's what's been going on all these decades now, for 75 plus years. And who knows how long it's really been going on, but it's been going on. People start noticing it, talking about it by the 1960s, and here we are. Is there going to be some sort of change, like David Jacobs says? And maybe that's we're waiting for that. That's going to happen at some point, because the aliens need a new place to move to, and maybe Earth is the place that they've settled on, and this is where they're going to come here and take over at some point. And everything that's been happening since the 40s up until now is just preparation, setup. And at some point, it's going to come. The human race will no longer exist on this planet, and these aliens will take over, or maybe will exist as servants or slaves, or who knows, just pets. Who knows what's going to happen? But at some point, they're going to completely take over. And the ones I'm talking about here, of course, are the usual suspects: the short and tall grays, along with the reptilians and the insectoid, the praying mantis types. They seem to be the ones that do the abducting most of the time, and they're the ones creating this hybrid race and sprinkling them throughout the globe. So maybe that's the whole plan from the beginning, is to take over this planet, to colonize it, and at some point it's going to happen. That could be the case. We really don't know. Now, the 10 things that I list here, it could be a combination too. I mean, some beings coming here could have different intentions. Maybe the intentions of these mantis creatures, these mantids, is to colonize the planet at some point. Maybe there's other aliens out there trying to stop them. Maybe Jacobs is completely wrong. It's all speculation. We really don't know. But that is number one on the list. I wanted to get that one out of the way because that's one of the ones I talk about all the time. Okay, moving on. Number two, they are using human DNA to create biological robots/slaves. We're just, look at how we multiply. I mean, the human race. I mean, we're over 8 billion people right now on this planet. Not long ago, it was 6 billion. Now, I mean, maybe we're just perfect specimens to create new creatures, the creatures that could be used in service to these other beings. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're creating biological robots. Maybe what these Greys are biological robots or slaves to some other race, maybe to the insectoids, or maybe there's some other creature out there above the insectoids. Maybe that's what this is all about. They're just using us for our DNA. That could be the case. We really don't know. Again, it's all speculation. And one other thing, like people talk about Nordics. Maybe the Nordics are a different race. Maybe they are creations that of these praying mantis beings. Maybe they made them from us and other alien DNA. Who knows? Or maybe they're, like some people suspect, that they are actually reptilians in disguise. We really don't know. It's all speculation. Okay, moving on. Number 3, they are conducting scientific research, studying the planet and its various life forms. That could be the case. It could be as simple as that. And I actually believe it is the case with regard to some of these species coming here. They could be just here studying the plant life, just trying to expand their knowledge. They're just interested. They're curious about other planets. Maybe where they evolved is completely different, and everything here is a giant surprise to them. There could be planets where they're not as large as Earth, they're not as dense as Earth, and it's just a totally different environment, totally different kinds of life forms, and everything that a different alien species might find here is completely alien to them. They've never seen anything like it, and they're just expanding their knowledge by coming here and studying this place, along with the living organisms that reside here. Okay, moving on. They are using the planet as a base. That could be true. I mean, basically, this could be just a pit stop for extraterrestrials. Maybe extraterrestrials are just exploring everything. They're exploring the galaxy, and they found this place. Oh, this is pretty neat. Okay, we're gonna set up some shops here, so other beings could stop here, refuel, take a rest, and then before they move on to their next adventure. It could be something as simple as that. And Earth is the densest planet in this solar system. And there's a lot of resources here. So it could be definitely a great base for extraterrestrials. Okay, moving on. Number 5, they are extracting natural resources from the planet, sun, and perhaps other planets within the solar system. That could definitely be the case. I mean, Earth, like I just said, is the densest planet in this solar system, and it has gold, it has platinum. There's a lot of different substances here that might be helpful to extraterrestrials and their projects. I mean, we just don't know, but that could be why they're here. Maybe they exhausted all the resources from where they come from, and now they're traveling to other planets trying to steal those resources for themselves, and that's what they're using this place for. It could be as simple as that. Or, again, this could be a combination. There could be multiple reasons why they are here. Okay, moving on. Number 6, they are observing our technological progress because they are concerned we could someday pose a threat to other intelligent species on other planets. Yes, we could most certainly be a threat. I mean, just look at the way we treat each other. I mean, if we treat each other this bad, how do you think we're going to... I mean, they're looking at us and they're seeing what's going on right now. It doesn't matter what year it is. I mean, as long as I've been alive, there's just been atrocity after atrocity after atrocity after atrocity. It doesn't end. We're warlike. We fight over territory. We kill each other. We're monsters. And we're advancing technologically. So if you're an alien species and you found this planet and you see how we're advancing and how quickly we're advancing, that could be a big time concern. I mean, we've already dropped nuclear atomic bombs on cities. We've already killed via that method. I would have to imagine that any sort of alien race out there would have to look at us and be very concerned and thinking about the future. Where are we going to be 100 years from now, 500 years from now? We could become a threat. And I mean, we're actually exploring space right now. We're sending out people into space. We're sending out probes into space. We're sending satellites into space. At some point, 100, 200, 300 years from now, we're going to be sending people, who knows, to other solar systems. And we're going to keep advancing. And we could become a threat. We could be viewed as a threat. I don't see why we wouldn't. We would most certainly be viewed as a threat. We hurt each other all the time. We're monsters to each other. So that could be a concern. And maybe at some point, they're watching us. They're making sure they're trying to. At some point, there's a decision going to be made. If we don't get a grip, maybe that's the plan here. They're going to end it for us. They're going to take control, and maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the purpose behind the colonization. Maybe it isn't a colonization. Maybe they're here. They're just setting up shop because they're concerned about where we're heading. And if we get too out of hand, well, maybe that's when they're going to have to institute some change. That could be what's happening. We just don't know. Again, all of it's pure speculation. Okay, moving on. Number 7. The human race is a long-term scientific experiment, and they are monitoring their pet project. Yes, we could have been put here by these beings millions of years ago, and that's all this is. We're just some sort of an experiment, and they're just watching us. And they've been around so long. That this is, a million years to them might not seem like anything. Maybe, when they created us, or who knows what they did, but they could have put us here, and it's just some sort of a game to them, just sort of an experiment. They're just curious to see how we change, how we evolve over time. If technology leads us to a different understanding of, and maybe some sort of enlightenment. We haven't reached it yet. I could tell you that for sure. But maybe that's what this is all about. We just don't know. Again, it's pure speculation. See, again, this is the problem when you have a cover-up that goes on and on and on and on. The scientific community for the most part, doesn't study this. That has no idea. Doesn't want to even go near it because they're afraid of the stigma and being run out of the scientific community on a rail. So they stay away from it because the government says there's nothing to it. And this is what happens now. This is what happens. The rest of us out there who know that something's going on, who can clearly see this, who could clearly understand that there's a cover-up and know that there's a presence here on this planet, we're just left to guess. But unfortunately, if the scientific community had been studying this from day one, if everyone was brought in on this right away, if the whole world was told the truth, for instance, right after Roswell, then maybe we would be in a different place right now, and we would have a greater understanding of the reasons here. But again, we're left like this in the dark because we don't have any information, and the scientific community doesn't study it, and for the most part, a lot of them don't even believe in it. Okay, moving on. Number 8. They are truly concerned with the welfare of the human race and are here to stop us from destroying ourselves, such as via a nuclear holocaust. Yeah, that could be the case. Some people believe that they are here to help us. Maybe in some cases it is. Maybe that's what the whole thing is all about. Maybe they're here to stop us from destroying ourselves, to get us over that hump, and to that hump toward perhaps enlightenment of some sort, where the human race finally snaps out of it and finally decides not to kill one another all the time. Maybe that's what this is all about. They're trying to get us over that hump, and they know it's going to be rocky, and who knows, there could be some madman out there, some dictator who hits the button, right? And next thing you know, there's a nuclear holocaust, and more than half the population of the world is killed. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's what this is all about. It would explain why they show up over the nuclear sites sometimes, right? Maybe they're testing it. Maybe they're testing their technology to make sure they could shut down a potential nuclear war. Maybe that's what that's all about. Now, of course, I know some people are going to say, well, maybe they're just that it also could be the reason that they're doing things like that is because they want this planet for themselves, and they want to make sure we don't ruin it for them. So that's why maybe that's the purpose too. But hey, it could be that they're just benevolent creatures, and they just want to make sure that we don't destroy this planet or ourselves. And maybe they're hoping and they believe that at some point we are going to wake up and not be so violent toward one another. That could be the case. Who knows? Okay, moving on. Number 9. They are preparing the planet to serve as a shield for an impending disaster that threatens the sanctity of the entire galaxy. Why not? I mean, again, we have no scientists really studying this or the reasons behind it. See, a lot of here's the thing. Okay, most of the time, what we're doing here, what I do on the show too, which is unfortunate, is like we're debating with people who don't want to accept this reality, and then meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of us that have accepted it, and we're looking at the bigger picture. Like I know that there's something here, and I just like to know the reasons, right? But sometimes we get mired down in the muck along with these other people who don't want to accept this reality, and we forget about the reasons, the potential reasons why these beings are here, when that's what we should be focusing on a lot. This could be one of the reasons when you really think about it. Maybe there's some sort of a disaster that's impending that's going to threaten the entire universe, right? Or excuse me, the entire galaxy, or a portion of the galaxy, or some other solar systems out there. Who knows, right? But maybe they determined that, hey, this planet here with these people on it, they're just not worth saving. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use this as a shield. We're gonna plant some sort of explosions all over the place, blow it up Death Star style to prevent some other disaster, from some black hole sucking up some other solar system someplace else. Maybe that's what's going on. Again, it sounds insane, and I'm probably wrong about it, but all we can do is speculate. Why are they here? This could be one of the reasons. I don't think so. Do I really believe that? No. But hey, I don't know. Anything is possible, right? We just don't have any answers. The scientific community really isn't studying this. The government continues to cover up, and we're just left to speculate. And this could be one of the things that could be happening here. Because really, when you look at the human race, now, of course, are there good people in the human race? Yes. Right. But overall, when you look at it, if you're looking at it from outside of the box, looking down at this place, and you're seeing some of the stuff that's going on in this world, wow, it's ugly. It's an ugly place. I mean, we're rotting each other, and we don't care. We're greedy. We're rotten. I mean, the stuff that the human race does to each other, humans do to each other, it's incredible. It boggles the mind, and I'm sure it has to boggle the mind of any extraterrestrial, highly intelligent being coming here and looking down and seeing what's going on here. And they probably, if this is the case, if number 9 is a real option, right? They could be looking at us and thinking, wow, okay, this place here, how about we just, this is going to be our shield. This is going to prevent this black hole from destroying these other solar systems. So we'll just blow this up, and it will avert that. These people ain't really worth saving. Look at how they treat each other. We can't allow them to evolve anymore technologically, because look at the way they treat each other. Look at how they kill each other on a regular basis. We're going to let them things evolve and go out into space and then start doing the same kind of things to us? No way. Could be. Why not? Okay, and then finally, number 10. The reason they are here is so complex that no human being is intelligent enough to understand that reason. Now, I know there's a lot of smarty people out there, smarty pants out there, who think they know everything, right? But I don't think, I think we're not, I don't think we're that intelligent. I think we think we're that. I think we think we're really intelligent, but I think compared to a race of creatures that may be 100 million years more advanced than we are, we're stupid. We're extremely dumb, and we wouldn't be able to understand the potential reason that they are here and what they are doing. We just wouldn't get it. It would never be able to compute with even the smartest person on this planet. It's very possible. We think we're smart a lot of times. I think I'm smart, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm really stupid. And just like everybody else on this planet, we think we would be able to understand anything, right? But maybe there's some things that we just would never be able to grasp. It would be beyond our pay grade. Don't know. Anyway, that's the 10 reasons that I have come up with. Doesn't make me right. Again, it's all pure speculation anyhow. It's just something to ponder. If there's anybody has any other good reasons why they are here, please share them in the comments, or send me an email, whatever. I'd like to hear more. All right, moving on. I want to talk about, I received a comment from somebody today, and this was on YouTube. Says, this was from KJ Hold on a second. Let me pull it up here. KJTZ7VC. He says, I'm bummed that you rarely read our YouTube comments anymore and just focus on the Spotify polls. I feel unloved. Lots of laughs. Okay, I'm sorry, KJ, but I'm going to be reading more comments as time goes on. I've been really busy lately and some other things that had to be taken care of, and I haven't been doing as many podcasts as I would hope to be doing. But I'm hopefully going to be picking that back. Things will be picking up again as we move forward. As I got a lot of things out of the way now, and so I should be a lot more stuff. I'll be reading a lot more comments. In fact, I'm going to read a different comment that you actually put here on the most recent podcast that I put out. Fox rolls out red carpet for disingenuous UFO debunker and Goldie Hawn alien encounter. Actually, KJ said we were talking now in that episode. I was talking about debunker Brian Dunning. He was granted. Fox News Digital interviewed him, and he's talking about how he's very upset with some people in the scientific community, like Avi Loeb, because he thinks they're using sensationalism instead of science. It didn't make any sense to me. This guy here, this debunker who he has a podcast, Skeptoid podcast, big time skeptic. He just doles out nonsense, trying to, putting out garbage on a regular basis, and then he's basically projecting. Basically, it's this guy here. I mean, I look at someone like this guy, like Brian Dunning. He's a parasite on the UFO topic because he doesn't really care about this subject. He's using this as a vehicle for his own personal gain. I mean, obviously, this person really doesn't understand the UFO subject, doesn't believe in the extraterrestrial presence, never really did any real research. All he does is try to debunk stuff, pontificate, make proclamations, and so on and so forth. So KJ commented, he says, Dunning accused UFO eyewitnesses of seeking attention while on Fox News as he's promoting his anti-UFO movie? Wow, look in the mirror, Brian. Dunning is sure that UFOs are bogus and smugly treats anyone claiming an experience as a fool, simpleton, or liar. He actually did a Skeptoid episode on Lonnie Zamora and dismissed it with a secondhand and certainly unproven rumor that Zamora was hoaxed by college students. Yeah, let me just stop there for a second. Anybody who's researched the Lonnie Zamora incident knows that there's no way that he was hoaxed by college students. The thing he saw was flying in the air. And there was evidence left behind. But see, Dunning doesn't care. He'll just say anything. He'll say anything, this guy. He doesn't do any research. He'll just make stuff up. Anyway, Dunning had easy targets when he was dismissing everyday people, but now looks frantic and defensive in his mounting adamant campaign against U.S. Congress paying attention to the UFO topic. Yeah, these debunkers hate the fact that there are people in Congress who are passing legislation interested in on unraveling this UFO cover-up. Who this guy thinks he knows that, in his mind, he thinks that there's no way that there's recovered alien spaceships or a reverse engineering program just because he just doesn't believe it. But yet the issue is that he has not been, he wasn't sitting in on these closed meetings that people in Congress have had with some of the whistleblowers, not just Grush, but other ones. So they've seen stuff, or they wouldn't be pushing for the legislation or passing legislation like the whistleblower legislation. Anyway, continuing here, he says, there are official videos of unexplained objects, credible witnesses, and an obvious tug of war going on behind the scenes about releasing this information. Brian and Mick West are buddies who tag each other in to debunk each latest development. Just look at their social media interaction. They're obviously starting to look like grinning idiots holding hands on a sinking ship. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Yeah, these people... I mean, what's going to happen once the truth comes out? What happens to the debunkers like Brian Dunning? I mean, does that destroy them? Does that ruin them? I mean, does that make them... Like, how could anybody trust them after something like that? Once this truth comes out, how can anybody trust them? Somebody who's been telling you horse dump all along, telling you there's nothing to this. But the reality is that, as a lot of us know, there is something to it. But yeah, these people, they're going to look terrible when this is all said and done. They'll be swept away into the dustbin of history once it's all over with. But yeah, KJ, yeah, I'll be reading more comments off of YouTube as we move forward, as well as from Spotify. Now, the reason I do the polls on Spotify all the time, for one thing, Spotify allows me to have a poll with each episode. You can't do that with YouTube. You could put polls on YouTube, but it's, on Spot, you can't really do it this way. I like to have it like this, a poll attached with each episode, and that's what I've been doing. So that's why I have them on there. Anyway, I want to go through some of those recent Spotify polls. And here's another thing. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to, if you didn't want to, if you like to listen to my show or watch my show on YouTube, you could still go to Spotify and vote on these polls. I mean, it's just, you don't have to listen to the show on Spotify, although I would like people to, I wish people would listen to them on both of them, but, I mean, they're there. You could vote on them. I mean, anybody could vote on them. You don't have to listen to the episode. But I like putting them on there because they give me stats in it, and there's a lot of different things involved here on Spotify, so that's why I keep it there. But anyway, for the episode, attorney snaps picture of flying saucer through car's sunroof and draws NASA interest, I asked this question: do you think the disc-shaped object hovering above John Billingsley's car in 2015 is a craft manufactured and operated by extraterrestrials or non-human intelligent beings? 57 people have responded so far, with 23 days left. 13 people, or 22.8%, say no, while 44 people, or 77.2%, say yes. Now, I just want to point out that to me, it looked pretty good. I mean, the photo looked pretty good. It looked like your classic flying saucer. I thought it was pretty convincing. But some people don't think so. Actually, I've received comments to that effect. Some people think it could have been something else. Rob Aldrich wrote, "Oh, no. I can tell it's either an owl flying through swamp gas or else Jupiter's reflecting off his forehead. It looks like daytime, but it's actually night or something." Now, of course, Rob is just joking around here. Fred says, another great example of a legit sighting followed by a government cover-up and abuse of its citizens. We need names and faces of the Pentagon persons who are in charge of this unconstitutional program. Nor 2023 says, don't know if the picture is real, but I shared this podcast. Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, you can't say with 100% certainty with any picture. With any pictures of a UFO. Some of them, when you have multiple witnesses who were there when it was taken, that's a different story. But I think that this guy, he didn't know he took the pic. He didn't know that there was a UFO there. He didn't notice it until later. I think there's some. I think that this could potentially be an extraterrestrial / non-human intelligent craft. I agree with the majority on this one. Okay, for the episode, another Stephenville UFO sighting / Congress reps briefed in closed UFO session. I asked this question: are our elected officials being tough enough in the effort to pry the extraterrestrial truth from the secret control group? 84 votes so far, 23 days left. 10 people, or 11.9%, say yes, while 74 people, or 88.1%, say no. I have to agree with the no's, because after the way they were acting after this hearing, I think you need to get mad. I know there were some of my listeners were upset with the way I was acting, but I'm just what I'm trying to do is express how these people need to be. They need to be angry. They need to be upset by this cover-up already. This is so stupid what's going on here. I don't know how else to do. I don't know how else to express it. And nothing else seems to work. I mean, maybe that's how you need to act. I mean, not coming out in there and just acting like coming out of that skiff hearing and just like your head down. Yeah, they didn't show us anything. What are you gonna do? That's not the way to act. You need to get angry about it. I mean, the only way to get to the bottom of this is by getting angry and banging your fist a lot on a podium. I mean, you need to start getting people's attention and let them know that you're serious by just basically it's like conceding. It's like, yeah, we there's nothing we can do, just letting them get away with this cover-up, allowing it to continue. I mean, yeah, has Congress been doing stuff? Yes, they have, but you can't just let them walk all over you like this. You got to get angry. That's the reason that's why I act the way I do sometimes. I don't want to do that every episode, but that day I felt like that. I was so angry about that, watching some of those videos with those Congress people talking and just all mousy about it and everything. You got to get angry. You got to show some emotion. You got to let these people know that you mean business and that you know that there's something going on, because there is. Okay, for the episode, Fox rolls out red carpet for disingenuous UFO debunkers / Goldie Hawn alien encounter, I asked this question. Of the debunkers listed below, which one would you like the host of Extraterrestrial Reality to debate the most? One person, or 3.8%. Now, so far, this poll started not even 24 hours ago, but there is 26 votes so far. One person, or 3.8%, say Michael Shermer. Of course, he's the guy who publishes Skeptic magazine. Oh boy, real disingenuous jerk. That guy is. Doesn't believe in any of this stuff. Again, people like him, they're making a living doing this. Again, there's not that many people out there doing this debunkerism stuff, right? And this is one of them. This is one of the bigger names, Michael Shermer. I've talked about him a number of times on the show before. Total idiot. Doesn't know what he's talking about. Doesn't do any research. Just armchair nonsense, just like the rest of them. Number two, two people, or 7.7%, say Stephen Greenstreet. He's the reporter from the New York Post. Total horrible person. I there's not much really to say there. I don't even know why I shouldn't even included that guy's name. He's not worth it. Brian Dunning, he received 5 votes, or 19.2%. Of course, Brian Dunning was the main subject of that podcast. Another disingenuous jerk. I would if I was asked, if I was approached to debate these people, I would do it, but I don't know is it really worth it? I don't know. Okay, 8 people, or 30.8%, said Neil deGrasse Tyson. I doubt that I'd ever get a debate with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Of course, he's going on the big news channels all the time. That's where his focus is, promoting his books on a regular basis, while trying to make people who see UFOs and encounter extraterrestrials look like fools. Meanwhile, he's collecting millions of dollars. I think he's a funny guy and everything. I think I enjoy when he's talking, listening to him when he's talking about galaxies and the universe. He's obviously very smart on that, but he shouldn't be talking about UFOs, because he just doesn't study the subject properly. Doesn't have any idea what he's talking about whatsoever. And then 10 people, or 38.5%, a majority so far, say Mick West. Of course, he's the biggest debunker. He seems to get the most attention on Twitter. He's totally disingenuous, a total absolute clown. Like I've said in that episode, if I were to debate any of these people, I would make a fool out of them, because they wouldn't be able to respond to a lot of the things that I put to them, and they would not know what I'm talking about, and they would look like total uneducated idiots. And they wouldn't be able to, I know what they, like Mick West, when he was on that Kurt J. Mungle podcast along with Eric Weinstein, he was talking over him, being rude. I wouldn't allow that to happen in a debate with me. That would not happen. He would not get away with that. I would put him in his place real quick. There's no being nice to these people. They're not. They haven't been. None of these debunkers, and in fact, throughout the decades, debunkers have not been nice to people who investigate UFOs. They're very cruel. They're rude. They're rotten. They're jerks. And it's time to get thrown back in their face the way they treat everybody else, the way they've been treating people in the UFO community for decades. I really have no respect for them for the most part. People who make a living debunking UFOs. They're a bunch of liars. They don't do any research, and they really don't deserve the credit that they get, the attention that they get. But that's what's happening. You saw Brian Dunning's on Fox News getting interviewed. Well, for what? What has he done in this field? Nothing at all, except say stuff like he doesn't believe it. And then he has the audacity to criticize someone like Avi Loeb, who actually goes out and does real science. So that's how I feel about it. But hey, if I were ever to be in a debate with any of these clowns, they would lose that debate. I would completely dominate them, and it wouldn't even be funny. Actually, it probably would be if you were watching it, you'd actually it'd be so bad, you'd actually start feeling bad for the debunkers. That's how bad it would be and then they'd probably scurry off the screen and not show back up again, because I'd make an absolute fool out of any one of these people. Anyway, I want to say thank you very much for joining me. Until next time.